statement yan or sinubukan na ginawa. Kaya nga sinasabi ko, talagang lumang tugtugin na yan. Wala nang naniniwala, wala nang sasama dyan. Kasi ang taong bayan, mas maraming problema na kailangan ayusin, which yun ang ginagawa natin ngayon. Wag na silang tumagdag sa problema ng bansa. Dinidivide pa nila tong bansa natin. Wala. Lumang tugtugin na yan, wala na nakikinig.
Well, that is for the committee members to decide. Hindi naman po, sa ngayon naman po, sa totoo lang, wala naman din pong gustong mangyari kung ano yung nangyari kay Atty. Zulaika. It just so happen, nagkaroon lamang po talaga ng security breach at napakahirap po talaga na may VIP po na nandirito at hindi naman po talaga kakayanin din po ng ating security at facility na i-secure yung pangalo sa pinakamataas na opisyal ng ating bansa.
Well, in addition to that po siguro, well, yung opinion po ng former president, that's well taken, I suppose, pero it's nothing incongruent or hindi naman po in opposition to what we're doing here. The contempt power being exercised here is the self-preservation of Congress. This is innate, it is residual in Congress, and it has been defended many times by
yung pala yan. Sorry.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. So yun po, the power contempt is residual, it is innate with Congress, and it has been protected many times by the Supreme Court. Our exercise by the House through the committee is valid, I believe, and it is in line with previous precedent. Yung sinasabi po ni Chair Joel, and we agree with that po siguro, yung although we do have a contempt, we do have a detention center in the House, it's not properly equipped sometimes for given certain circumstances. As we understand, over the weekend, special circumstances po nangyari. It's not just your regular content issue. So the need to transfer to another facility usually ina-accommodate naman. And this is not the first time actually. We've already had precedent that we've already had contempt orders served in these facilities. In fact, yung ano ba yung na-mention? Yung Women's Correctional. The Women's Correctional was previously used also in the Quad Committee on the topic of POGOs. So it's nothing new. I wonder why ngayon lang po siya naging issue. So yun lang po siguro in addition.
On the administrative side, we will take the remarks ng dating Pangulo as customer feedback. At siguro kailangan po nating dagdagan pa yung detention facilities natin o dagdagan po ng kwarto. Kasi nga, alam niyo naman po na ratsyada po ang Quadcom. So marami pong nakagamit ng facilities natin. And of course, as customer feedback, we will improve our facilities as well.
Thank you. May another statement lang po ni Duterte following yung kill remark po ni VP Sara kay PBBM. Her dad, PRD said, kasuhan nyo na lang si Inday, hindi naman makulong yan. Hindi talaga magpapakulong yan. Kung ipapatay mo yan, uuwi yan ng Davao. I mean, it's pertaining to the DOJ.
This was with the press con last night, no?
Yes po.
Hindi ko pa kasi napanood. Pero, opinion naman niya yun eh. So, but again, nakita naman po natin yung direksyon ng House, yung sagot ng House, sagot ng ating mahal na Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. They are treating this with all seriousness. Kaya, kung ano man yung laro-laro na naman na play with words o kaya yung sinabi nilang kasuhan, then titignan po natin sa mga susunod na araw kasi hindi naman po, wala naman po sa kamay ng Kongreso yan. Ang ginagawa po ng Kongreso ngayon, hinaalungkat po natin yung katotohanan, hinahanap po natin yung katotohanan dito sa ating mga hearings sa good government, saka saka sa Quadcom. So, wala, opinion nila yun eh. Yun ang tingin nila eh. Thank you.
Yes, I guess the DOJ through the NBI has started its investigation, and a subpoena will be issued for the Vice President to answer and to face these criminal charges to be filed against her. So with that, due process will be observed in such a way that the Vice President will be given the opportunity to answer with regard to his threat against the President, the First Lady, including the House Speaker. So this will undergo a regular process.
Sorry, can we hear the quote again? Just to be sure po, no?
Kasuhan nyo na lang si Inday, hindi naman makulong yun. Hindi talaga magpapakulong yun. Kung ipapatay mo yan, uuwi ng Davao yan.
I'm guessing the context also is kasuhan na lang instead of having the hearing. Tama po ba?
I think it's pertaining to the kill threat po kay PBBM. So do you have any comments on that? Sa DOJ.
Instead, kasuhan na lang. Well, I'm sorry. I guess the context is lost on us. We haven't heard the press con, but I think what's safe to say. Well, for one, we've had first-hand experience na po, having had the former president join us in a committee hearing. Baka po hyperbole po ito, so I'm not sure if we'd understand it right. But we stand by the rule of law, and we stand by the statement of the president and the speaker. The proper judicial process has been initiated already. The DOJ is already acting on the case. So I think whatever opinion he might have on whether the case will prosper is his own po, no? But we leave it to the DOJ to decide and to handle po.
Anything you would like to add na lang po on how the former president po is handling this, and another lawmaker has also mentioned about yun nga po, kung si Noynoy before hindi po nakikialam or not saying anything about the Duterte administration during the drug war, pero nga po si Duterte seemingly he's sowing discord po ngayon sa admin ni Marcos.
Excuse me, anong sabi ni former president kay Inday? Ano sabi?
Regarding po dun sa kill threat, kasuhan nyo na lang si Inday, hindi naman makulong yon, hindi talaga magpapakulong yon. Kung ipapatay mo yan, uuwi ng Davao yan.
Una sa lahat, hindi po nagpapapatay yung administrasyon natin ngayon. Ang nagpapapatay po yung ibang administrasyon, pero hindi yung ngayon. Yung previous administration siguro. Pero yung administrasyon ngayon, we follow the rule of law, no? Talagang gusto natin na maayos, tahimik, at meron tayong sinusundan na batas, at binibigyan natin ng hustisya, no? Lahat ng lahat ng mga sitwasyon na kung saan kailangan patas, no, ang pagtingin sa batas.
Last na lang siguro, based dun sa quote kanina, parang dina-downplay na parang ganito na lang gawin nyo, ganito ganyan. Parang nilalighten lang nila yung seriousness ng mga threat na ginawa. Pero alam naman natin kasing lumang tugtugin na yan. Alam na ng tao yan, sobrang lumang tugtugin na yung style na ganyan. Hindi na gumagana.
And just to add, just to be clear, wala akong threat or balak na ipapatay ang ating pong Vice Presidente. Kaya hindi ko din po maintindihan kung bakit nabanggit po yun ni PRRD. Just to be clear lang on that aspect.
Have you finished your questions, Marian? Marian, are you done with your questions? Okay, let us recognize Gab Lalo from Inquirer Online.
Sir,
Sir, kahapon dun sa hearing ng Good Government, yung mga Special Dispersing Officers ng OVP at DepEd, si Gina Acosta sa si Edward Fajarda, inamin nila na iniwan nila yung confidential funds sa mga security officers kay Colonel Nolasco at Colonel Lachica upon the orders of the Vice President, diba? May possible liability ba to, sir? Or may mga possible na kaso? Kasi we're not familiar kung anong kaso yung specific sa iwan ng pera sa hindi naman dispersing officer.
Well, ako, tingin ko may possible na kaso dahil in the first place, sa kanila hinabilin yung pera eh. Tsaka sila yung banded officer. So pag may nangyari dun sa, unang-una yung perang pinag-uusapan po natin dito, hindi naman po nila pare-parehas pera. Pera po ito ng taong bayan. So the fact na ito'y pinagkatiwala nila sa isang tao at kung may nangyari po dito sa pera, silang mananagot, eh medyo, kaya nga po sila nagbabayad ng bond. Ang ibig sabihin po nyon ay in the event na may mangyari dun sa pera, sila po yung magre-reimburse. Now, ang tanong, ito pong pinag-uusapan natin ay hindi po ordinaryong pera. We are talking here of 612.5 million pesos. In the event na may mangyari po dyan, so kaya po ba nila i-reimburse itong 612.5 million pesos?
If dagdag ko lang makikita natin na meron pong malinaw na paglabag doon sa Joint Memorandum Circular -2015. Dahil kung titignan natin kung sino yung accountable officer doon, it refers to the Special Disbursement Officer, the SDO, who in the person of Gina Acosta and Edward Fajarda. So wala naman po doon na nakalagay sa guidelines ng JMC na kailangan mong ibigay doon sa security officer. Yes, we understand na kailangan po ng security to secure the money upon encashment. But yung iti-turn over mo, yung pera na kaka-encash lang, kakakuha lang sa bangko, it seems it's highly irregular in the sense na hindi nga yun ang accountable officer eh. So doon pa lang malinaw na meron pong paglabag. And sinabi naman po mismo ng ating pong mga SDOs na yun po ay utos ng ating Vice Presidente.
Maigli lang. They all know the irregularities na ginawa nila. Inamin naman po nila lahat yun. Ang problema, it was already too comfortable for them yung setup na gano'n, which is regular practice in their office. Kaya po, parang wala na lang. Kumbaga, hindi na sinusunod yung protocols nila. So, normal na nangyari. I wouldn't be surprised if hindi lang sa security binibigay yun. Baka kung sino-sino pa or driver na lang. So, I wouldn't be surprised na ano. But again, sabi ko nga, ang dami ng issues ng transparency sa accountability. So, it came from their mouth. So, alam nila yun. Yung pagkakamaling ginawa nila.
In addition lang po siguro, we thought po with the appearance of the 4 OVP officials who have been constantly evading the hearing that we would have answers. Yet, again, after how many hearings have we had? 7? After 7 hearings, we're left with more questions now. Akala po namin, based on the previous hearings, dalawa lang po ang nakakaalam sa kung paano ginamit confidential funds. The head of the agency and the SDO. So in this case, 3 people kasi dalawang agencies. Ngunit, with their appearance po, nalaman po natin yung funds ay actually dinelegate pa ng SDO to a security officer who isn't even from that civilian agency. Our understanding is, itong dalawang officers that were mentioned are both from the uniformed personnel po, which is separate from the OVP and separate from the DepEd. So doon pa lang po, I believe, yung sa testimony ng witness na COA, hindi po yan in line with joint circular. What has been delegated cannot be delegated further. Trabaho po at responsibilidad yun ng SDO. Ngunit pinasa pa po sa security agent, security officer na cannot even account to us now. If you recall, yung bonded officer po dito, yung SDO dapat, siya yung responsible. Ngunit ngayon, they cannot even tell us the smallest details of what we're expecting from the accomplishment reports, liquidation reports. So I think yun yung big takeaway dito. On the question po kung anong liabilities po dito, it would really vary. If we recall, if this is public fund intended for public use, even if assuming po na yung pondo na dinaan para sa confidential funds ay ginamit for public use pa rin, let's say, for example, pero dahil hindi sumunod sa strict procedures, I believe this is technical malversation. But worse, if this was taken for personal gain, if this proven fictitious at erroneous yung ARs to justify the taking of this amount, that could be malversation proper or worse, plunder. Kasi lampas na po ito sa 50 million. So yun po yung nakikita natin dito.
Nakita natin na merong pagkukulang, lalong-lalo na yung ating mga disbursing officers. Nakita natin na nagkulang sila sa pag-iingat ng pera ng ating pamahalaan. At sa huli, it is a command responsibility. At talagang nakikita naman natin na lahat sila ay sumusunod lamang sa utos ng ating Vice Presidente. So sa huli, kung may makitang mga paglabag sa batas, kung may makitang kailangang may managot, kailangan akuhin ng ating Vice Presidente ang pananagutan dito sa pagkukulang.
Sir, yung ganitong issue na ang nag-disburse talaga si Colonel Nolasco and Colonel La Chica, maka-cure ba nito kung sakaling yung dalawang officials na lang ang ginawang SDO o bawal dahil military officials sila?
Well, for one po, nabanggit naman po ng COA na pwede naman po mag-assign ng other SDOs. It would have cured probably, but the problem is they're still not from that office. I don't think, halimbawa, the agency, yung pondo nakalagay sa OVP. Dapat ang SDOs galing po sa OVP eh. So doon pa lang, even if they did make, I don't know if you could even make security personnel from a different agency, an SDO. So I don't think it would have cured it po. Although technically, you could add SDOs and that would have been a cure. Pero dahil nasa ibang opisina po, not possible, I think.
Siguro po kung sa pondo, let's say, ng AFP, meron din po silang sariling SDO. But kagaya nga po ng sinasabi ni Congressman Roch, Office of the Vice President, hindi po sila, in fact, hindi nga sila sumusweldo sa Office of the Vice President. Kaya meron din po talagang problema.
In addition lang po, aside from that, not only is that they're from the other office, they're from outside of the agency. Sila mismo, iba na po yung mandato ng opisina nila. So how could they be SDOs for a mandate to be executed for the civilian agency?
Sir, part ba ito nung mga kinoconsider ng committee as a possible legislation? Kasi ang pinagbabasihan natin ngayon, joint memorandum circular lang wala pang formal na batas for guidelines on CFN.
Ako tingin ko wala naman pong problema talaga naman dapat SDO ka kung saang ahensya ka nagtatrabaho. Nagkataon lang dito, gano'n naman talaga, yung binigyan nila ng ginawa nilang SDO, talaga naman pong nagtatrabaho, just so happen, binigay po nila sa iba. Kaya nga po, isa po sa mga possible na legislation na aming iniisip, dapat nga po talaga, yung mga wala naman pong kinalaman sa intelligence gathering ng mga ahensya at departamento, dapat po talaga, we have to limit yung bibigyan natin ng mga confi fund.
In addition to that lang po, siguro nakita natin, back then siguro sufficient pa yung joint memo circular, joint memorandum circular. Pero nakita natin na it's being twisted, yung definitions. Halimbawa, si Mr. Fajarda was insisting na yung pagbigay niya ng pera to the security officer is disbursement, which I think the COA says is not their interpretation, atin di rin. Pero to be fair, I don't think it says in this joint circular kung ano ba talaga yung disbursement. So, in a sense, I think one of the the suggestions by the committee, siguro the committee report, is to strengthen the joint memorandum circular. But on our part, I think we might push for legislation on top of that po, no? To really set the bounds and limitations ng mga SDOs natin and siguro stronger penalties for that responsibility.
Sir, last question na lang. Kasi kahapon may statement yung mga House leaders saying na yung statements ni Vice President Duterte was a clear danger and threat to the country's democracy. Do you agree with this? Tingin nyo may ganong gravity yung mga statements na binitawan ni Vice President?
100%.
Definitely, because ang threat po sa ating Pangulo. Ang ating pong Pangulo ang nagre-represent po ng ating bansa. So, siguro sa ibang bansa nga po, baka hindi po, they will not take it lightly. So, definitely, there is a clear and present danger.
I would agree po, there's a clear threat. There's a clear danger because there's a clear threat. We've gotten so used po, no, to the statements being watered down by biro lang or hyperbole. But in this case, sabi nga po, no joke. So there is a clear threat on a person who isn't even private, but the head of our country. So this is a threat, direct threat on our democratic institutions. So there is a clear, very clear danger po.
Ang ginawa ng ating Vice President ay malinaw na nagdudulot ng gulo at saka pagkawatak-watak, no? Kapag hinayaan natin ang ganitong klaseng pananakot, nagiging banta ito hindi lang sa demokrasya natin, kundi sa katatagan ng ating bansa.
Thank you, Gab. Mayor Alice Moras from PDB4, you're recognized.
Hi, good morning po. Sir, unahin ko lang po yung about health concerns. Kasi kahapon, yun nga, si Gina Acosta habang tinatanong niya sa hearing kahapon ay bigla na lamang sumama yung pakiramdam at isinugod sa ospital. At alam naman natin si Attorney Zulaika Lopez ay nasa ospital na rin. Una po, Kongs, ano po yung official medical update na kina Gina Acosta at Zulaika Lopez? Kumusta po sila at hanggang kailan kaya sila sa Veterans Hospital? May update po ba sa atin? At ano lang din po, isunod ko na rin po, ano pong masasabi nyo dito sa mga tauhan, mga opisyal ng OVP na biglang nagkakaroon ng problema sa kalusugan sa gitna ng pagdinig?
Doon po kay Attorney Zulaika Lopez, kung hindi po ako nagkakamali, ang kanyang diagnosis is acute stress. Ano yan? Ano yan? Disorder. So, parang binibigyan siya ng ilang araw para makapagpahinga. Until such time siguro. Anyway, yung contempt naman ay in-extend po namin until Saturday, or that is 5 days, no? So insofar naman as si Ma'am Gina Acosta, wala pa kaming report, pero nung nandoon nga po sa committee hearing, pinatawag po natin ang ating in-house medical doctor, at nung binibi po siya, parang nag-shoot up yung yung blood pressure ng 150/100. Kaya po minabuti na dalhin siya sa malapit na ospital, which is dito nga po sa Veterans.
Pero ano pong masasabi natin dito nga sa mga ganito nga nangyayari sa specifically sa good government hearing na may mga resource person na nagkakaroon ng can we say na biglaan ba itong mga health concerns po na ito?
Magpagaling po sila, we wish them well para po makabalik na sila at masagot na nila yung mga tanong na importante po sa committee. Wala naman po sigurong ibang rason na kung bakit sila may nararamdaman, kung hindi siguro nahihirapan silang sumagot. Baka nahihirapan nilang sabihin yung mga gusto nilang sabihin. At saka yun siguro nagkakos ng stress. But I'm not a medical practitioner, so pag magaling po sila para makabalik na po sila at masagot na po yung mga kailangan sagutin sa komite.
Sir, sorry, sagutin ko lang yung statement ni Kong Ortega. So parang somehow, sir, you're saying po na if they will just tell the truth, hindi naman kailangan umabot pa sa stress, ganun po ba yung ibig natin, sir?
Hindi naman po. Magpagaling muna sila para sa susunod po na hearing. Mas marami na po sila na masabing impormasyon kasi nga po, resource person natin sila. At sabi nga nila, minsan, pag nagsasabi ka ng katotohanan, the truth will set you free. Nakakagaang po ng pakiramdam ang pagsasabi ng katotohanan. Naalala niyo po nung nag-affidavit po si Ginang Royina Garma, ibang-iba po yung pagsasalita niya pagkatapos siyang sabihin yung totoo, mas relax, mas diretso siya sumagot. Makikita mo po talaga yung diferensya.
Tama yun, para mas mabilis nating matapos itong committee hearings. In fact, sabi ho ng aming chairman, siguro may isa o dalawa pa pong mga committee hearings. Pero kung hindi po makakadalo, because of medical reasons, baka mas lalong tumagal po itong hearing. Kaya tama po yung sinabi mo, Mela, na mas dapat sagutin na nila ng buong katotohanan para hindi na ho tayo tumagal dito po sa magiging committee hearings natin. And hindi na rin sila mahirapan na pabalik-balik pa dito sa mga pagdalo sa mga committee hearings.
In addition to that, kung mapapansin po ninyo nung tinatanong si Ma'am Gina Acosta ni Congresswoman Jinky Luistro, parang nahihirapan po siyang sumagot eh. In fact, there were 2 instances yata na halos maluha-luha po siya. So, it's either hindi po niya alam yung talagang kanyang responsibilidad as SDO at doon lamang niya nare-realize na may mali sa kanyang nagawa, or meron po siyang pinagtatakpan na katotohanan na hindi po niya masabi-sabi. Kasi kung makikita po ninyo siya noon, ang sinasabi niya ay basta't binigay lang niya yung pera at hindi na po niya alam kung ano po ang nangyari. Pero kung titingnan po natin yung history ni Miss Gina Acosta, since the time na nasa Davao pa po sila o sa LGU, siya na po ang SDO. So parang hindi naman po yata kapanipaniwala na yung 100 milyon, mahigit 100 milyon na ibibigay mo na lamang, ikaw yung banded official at alam mo na meron kang responsibilidad, biglang hindi mo na alam.
Na nakakatanggal ng sakit yung pagsasabi ng totoo.
Okay, and mag-shift lang po ako. Another question lang po about dun sa naging press ko ni former President Duterte kahapon. May sinabi po kasi siya na there is a fracture in government and there is a fractured governance sa Pilipinas ngayon. Nobody can correct Marcos, nobody can correct Romualdez. There is no urgent remedy. It is only the military who can correct it. At sinabi pa niya, hanggang kailan kayo magsuporta ng drug addict na presidente? Ano pong masasabi niyo rito? Hindi para sa inyo hindi po ba ito parang in a way parang nag-encourage na ng withdrawal of military support? Ano pong reaksyon niyo dito sa particular statement ni former President Duterte?
This isn't the first time po, no, that we've had this statement. And I recall if this, nangyari po ito last time, parang inciting to sedition po, no? Yung what was tagged to it. Pero at this point, puro hyperbole. I'm not sure if it should even be dignified with a serious consideration po, no? That's just my personal opinion.
This is another diversionary tactics, no? Para pagtakpan ng totoong issue na kinakaharap ng ating Vice Presidente. Tingin natin sa sobrang bigat, no? ng mga issue ngayon ng ating Vice President, kailangan niya ng tulong ng kanyang ama, no? Para tulungan yung anak na pagtakpan kung ano man yung kinaharap ng ating Vice President. Isa lang ang masasabi natin, no? I-explain lang niya kung paano ginamit ang confidential fund. Yun na yun, no? Hindi na natin kailangan ng mga salita, no, na hindi nakakatulong sa ating bayan at lalong nakakapagbigay, no, ng dibisyon sa ating mamamayan.
Sorry, in addition lang po to my statement, no, why I'm able to say po that we shouldn't take it seriously anymore kasi mga hyperbole, because I also have full trust and confidence in our armed forces that they will stay true to their oath to protect and uphold the Constitution. Yung order na yun, yung suggestion na yun is very much against the Constitution, so I don't think even the AFP will take that seriously po.
I totally agree with Congressman Jay, no, na isa na naman itong paglilihis sa mga issue na ipinupukol sa kanyang pong anak na si Vice Presidente. At doon sa kanyang parang panawagan, no, na mag-withdraw ng support ang mga militar, para sa akin hindi po akma sa isang naging chief executive, no, naging isang presidente na may taong mananawagan na hikayatin na mag-withdraw ng kanilang suporta sa kanila pong Commander-in-Chief. Alam po niyan, no, ni PRRD bilang isang naging Commander-in-Chief na isa sa mga ayaw mong mangyari ay kumalas ng suporta ang ating mga militar. So, I guess that is inappropriate statement, no, ng isang naging dating presidente at naging Commander-in-Chief ng ating bansa. Dahil kung ganyan, again, we are not calling for a peace and unity in our country. Mas lalo mo pang hinihikayat na magkaroon ng gulo, away sa ating hong bansa.
Parang 3 beses na yata nilang na statement yan or sinubukan na ginawa. Kaya nga sinasabi ko, talagang lumang tugtugin na yan. Wala nang naniniwala, wala nang sasama dyan. Kasi ang taong bayan, mas maraming problema na kailangan ayusin, which yun ang ginagawa natin ngayon. Wag na silang dumagdag sa problema ng bansa. Dinidivide pa nila tong bansa natin. Wala. Lumang tugtugin na yan, wala na nakikinig.
Sorry, connected pa rin po. Nabanggit nyo rin po yung kay Vice President Duterte. Follow up na lang po sa mga statement kanina kasi ngayon mainit sa mga public discussion yung naging death threat nga ni Vice President Duterte laban kay na Pangulong Marcos at Speaker Romualdez. And yung iba may mga nananawagan para maimbestigahan ito. Para sa inyo, is it best po na maimbestigahan? At saan po kaya particularly nakikita nyong best na maimbestigahan yung mga ganitong pahayag nga, yung mga naging pahayag ni Vice President Duterte?
Tingin ko yung NBI po, yung national government ay gumalaw na. In fact, nag-issue na ng subpoena ang NBI para po makuha ang panig ng ating Vice Presidente. So makikita naman po natin yung mga on the national level po, yung mga national agency na concerning natutugon po dito sa isyong to ay nandiyan na po at gumagalaw na po.